Hello, hockey fans. Well, Four Nations is over, and now it's about time to resume the rest of the regular season. There are 55 days left in the regular season, starting this Saturday, and things are getting interesting. That includes the Western Conference. Now, the West race isn't as crowded or delicious as it is in the East, but it still has an interesting moment. So let's not dilly dally. Let's take a look at the Western Conference playoff picture at this point. Of course, here are the Western Conference standings. In the Central, you have the Winnipeg Jets leading with 81 points, 1 point away from clinching a 500 season. They have a big lead over the Dallas Stars with 72, and the Minnesota Wild, despite being without Kirill Kaprizov for a good bit, have 70 points. In the Pacific, it's the Oilers and Golden Knights tied with 72 points, but the Oilers have that game in hand, so they're the team in first place. Vegas is in second, and the Kings are their usual favorite place, third places in the Pacific with 65 points. In the wild card standings, it's the Avalanche and the Canucks holding those spots. The Avalanche have spot with 68 points, and Vancouver has 63. The Calgary Flames are right behind them, right behind Vancouver with 60. But beyond that, not a lot of teams really have a shot. Utah and St. Louis might. The Ducks are doing a lot, but it's kind of too late for them. And below them is about four teams who are pretty much screwed. So that's those are the standings in the West. And let's talk about these. Let's talk about these teams that are in playoff positions at this point, beginning with the Central's top three. You know, it's amazing how the Jets have been doing. They were off to this monstrous start. Yes, they fell off a bit, but not bad enough to actually fall behind in the division. They have a pretty commanding lead in the Central, 9 points ahead of Dallas and Minnesota. Speaking of Dallas and Minnesota, those two have been bugging the hell out of me as an Avs fan. Those two seem to find ways to win. They find ways to win when we win. But when they lose, we can't gain ground on them. That's why the Central top three is like this, entering the final 8 weeks of the season. And and the thing that bugs me the most about Minnesota is Kirill Kaprizov's been out, but they're still figuring out ways to win. And of course, Marc-Andre Fleury's pretty much on his last year. It's a retirement tour with him, but he's doing well. And so is Philip Gustafsson in that. And Dallas, they're just clicking. They're just absolutely clicking. It's just crazy. Now, as for us, we're done with Winnipeg, but we still have a few games left against Dallas and Minnesota. We need to kind of beat them a few times, but more on us a little bit later. You know, it's always ever since the 2021-2022 season, which was the first full season back after the COVID affected years. Ever since that year, the Oilers and the Kings have represented 2/3 of the Pacific's top three. Strangely, despite Vegas' status as like one of the top teams in the league, this is right at this point, this is only the second time out of those last 4 seasons, including this one, where Vegas joins those two among the top three. Last year it was Vancouver. The last year was Vancouver, and that first year, 2021-22, it was Calgary in first place ahead of Edmonton and Los Angeles. This is pretty interesting. I kind of expected a lull from Edmonton after falling one win short of winning the Stanley Cup, and they've managed to make it to first place in the Pacific as of this point. And it's amazing how they're doing it. And this is despite the fact that their goaltending has been suspect dating back to 2021. But somehow Connor McDavid, who won that championship for Four Nations with that overtime goal, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they're doing it. Zach Hyman's doing it. It's just crazy. And this looks like it's going to be a dogfight between those two clubs for first place in that Pacific Division. And the Kings, all I can say about the Kings is they need to do some winning to make it to at least second, because they've been the third place team every year since that 21-22 season. And it's resulted in them starting the playoffs on the road, and they still have yet to win a series since they won their second and last cup about 11 years ago. So I think if the Kings make it to second and start the series at home, we might see something here. But this is an interesting top three here. Very interesting top three. Honestly, there's two ways to look at this if you're an Avs fan like me. On the bright side, despite our bad start, our shaky start, and our shaky goaltending to start this season, we're above ground. It's always good to be above ground in the NHL after a shaky start. And the excuses have been there, the justifiable ones. The shaky goaltending, players have been injured and banged up, and we still have a few players kind of missing action. Even better, we traded Mikko Rantanen, a move that is still shocked Avs fans and had Avalanche fans tearing their hair out. But Martin Necas has been a godsend for us. So is Jack Drury. He's got 2 goals, which is still one more than Mikko ever since he was traded. On the downside, however, we need to really win some games and move up to that top 3. No matter how much we win, Dallas and Minnesota win. That's not good. We need to do some winning. We need to win when we have the chance to gain some ground. At least we're staying above the Vancouver and Calgary mini cluster. Right now, it's Vancouver above the line, and yes, they've been through some stuff too with the whole thing between Elias Pettersson and JT Miller. They traded JT Miller, and they're above ground. They're 3 points ahead in the wild card race. Now they actually have a shot at making to the Pacific top 3, but again, they need to do some winning. They need to do some winning, because if they don't, they could be staring at having to face a division champion, or possibly missing out if Calgary somehow gets hot. That could happen too. But yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting in that wild card race. Hopefully, we can rise above this and move up to that top 3 in the Central, because I kind of want to avoid playing the division winner in the playoffs. This isn't 18 and 19 where we're just happy to be there. We have improved, and we've reached that level. We won a cup 3 years ago. So yeah, we need to do some heavy duty winning in the last week of February and of course in March too. So anyway, that is the playoff picture out in the Western Conference. And for my story on Vocal about it, the link is up above. Check it out when you can. So anyway, that is my video about the Western Conference. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe if you want more. If you're on TikTok, feel free to hit that follow button. And the next time I talk hockey on video is another week from now, because NHL March Madness is going to be crazy. It's going to be very crazy, and I sense a lot of twists and turns in this year's playoff race. I'm ready for it. So stay tuned for all of that great madness.